Hello everyone, this is Rick, and I hope everyone is still very healthy and staying safe when we are in this quarantine period. But in addition to my baby videos and cooking shows, hopefully more cooking shows coming, I actually want to take a step back and do a little bit of a serious topic today. And actually, let's get started. I promise won't take too long. So the serious topic is about the government sponsored program to help us during this difficult time. Some of these coronavirus related programs, that were signed into law late March, so like a week ago. The CARES Act, which I will talk about mostly today. There's this paycheck protection program, part of the CARES Act, called a PPP, what we call the PPP. Is a loan guarantee. The EIDL, which is, gives you a forgivable loan and such, is by the SBA. So some of these stuff, definitely visit the SBA.gov to learn these two a little more. But today I want to focus on the CARES Act. The CARES Act actually stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities. And I want to share some provisions, key CARES Act provisions with you, as well as what would impact you on your 401ks. So some of the key provisions, the recovery rebates. This is the $12,000, $1,200. Sorry, excuse me. Everyone that talks about. So it's actually a refundable income tax credit, okay, against your 2020 income. So for married couples filing jointly, the maximum amount that you receive is $2,400. So it's double of the $1,200. Right, that's the maximum amount that you can receive. But additional credit will be increased by up to $500 for each child. Okay, as a dependent child. So and then when I say up to, that's because if your income is too high, your 2018 or 2019 tax that you have filed, if your income is too high, then you're not eligible for this. Okay, so if your income is less than 75,000 as a single filer, or 150,000 AGI as a married joint filing jointly, okay, if your incomes are less than those two amounts, then you will receive the maximum $1,200 or $2,400 respectively. Okay, then this is interesting. So if your 2020 income is greater than 2019, which I hope, for all of you, everyone, it will be the case, because I don't want to see any more furlough, layoff, all that kind of stuff. But if that's really the case, okay, then your additional credit is actually forgiven, okay? But if your 2020 income is less than 2019, then you can apply for the credit next April. Okay, so what I mean by this is, if your 2019, your income is 100K, so you're not eligible for this $1,200 at all. But in 2020, something happens to you, then say your income became from 100,000 become 50,000. Okay, so you will get this 1,200 later on, based on your 2020. Okay, so it's like, a minimum of the 3 years basically of what we are doing. It's 2018 if you haven't filed 2019 tax yet, but if you already filed a 2019 tax, then they will use 2019 tax. Okay, so this graph just shows the stepwise on how your income, okay, your AGI income on the bottom, versus like how much you will get. Okay, so after, as I mentioned, as a single filer, if your income is above 100,000, then you get nothing. Okay, so other provisions, Okay, unemployment. This is some people pretty happy about this. Unemployment compensation is actually bumped up by $600 per week. Okay, and then it also extended by 13 weeks. And instead of a 1 week waiting period, you'll get it available first week of unemployment. Okay, so that's why after 2 weeks there are 10 million people filing for unemployment already. This is a little scary. Some other provisions that are less likely touching the younger audience. 401k, 403b, 459 IRAs, right? If you're old enough there for getting the required minimum distribution, what we call RMD. Currently, the age is age 72. You have to get the minimum distribution from your tax deferred plan retirement plan. So this has been waived. Okay, the waiver applies to this year. So if you're 72 this year, you don't want to take your money out yet, it's okay, just this year. Okay, but and not but it, and if you already taking out money this year, you can actually choose to return them back into the plan this year. Okay, the other one is less likely to apply to mass majority of you, is a contribution into a defined benefit plan as a sponsor instead of doing it quarterly. For this year's calendar year's contribution, you can actually extend it to the first of next year. Okay, but the whatever payment that are extended out, it will be adjusted for interest. Okay, so this one is the one that I really want to talk about, is the coronavirus related distribution to your retirement plans. Okay, so distribution, this is a key one. You see a lot on news regarding your retirement plan, tapping into your retirement plan. So there are differences between distribution and loan. Okay, so distribution, everyone knows, before age 59 and a half, you will incur 10% penalty. Okay, if you withdraw too early. However, because of the coronavirus, because of the CARES Act, this 10% penalty has been waived for up to $100,000 withdrawal or distribution. But the requirements are, neither the plan owner has coronavirus, or spouse or dependent of the plan owner has coronavirus, or, this is the big or, is anyone experience adverse financial consequence from either quarantine or furlough, layoff, reduce hours because you are stuck at home, or a big one is unable to work due to the lack of child care. So basically, everyone, right? I mean, I don't think any child care facility is open now, so you have to stay home and watch your kid, and so some people cannot work. And so this applies to everyone, almost everyone. Okay, so 10% penalty free. However, it's still not tax free, because these money that you put inside these retirement accounts, you've never paid tax on those. So when you withdraw them, it's taxable to you. Okay. However, there's no, when you take them out, there's no withholding requirement, because you never pay tax on them. But when you need to withdraw, you withdraw the whole thing. They don't hold 20% on you yet. Okay, there's no 20% hold, and then you actually can repay whatever you distribute your withdrawal over 3 years. And if you do that within the 3-year period, then the tax that you will pay, you can actually get it back. Okay, so it becomes tax-free again, type of thing. And then the income tax associated with CARES may be spread over 3 years. Okay, so let's say you withdraw 100,000. So let's say your income bracket is 30%, 40%. Okay, 30%, let's say. And then so It's 30%. So that means you will get a tax hit of $30,000 this year. However, by spreading it, you can actually spread this 30,000 over 3 years. Okay? How about loans? Loans is similar, but you cannot borrow against IRAs. Only 401k, 403b, or 457. Okay? So the loan amount has increased. It used to be 50% of your vested bonus, vested balance, not your bonus, vested balance, okay, 50%, or $50,000. Okay? But now it has increased to 100% of your vested balance. You can borrow the whole thing, or up to 100,000. Okay, you can borrow up to 100,000. But the loan must be made between March 27th to December 31st. Okay, this year only. And if you already have a loan, then the due date of the loan repayment, usually they make you repay it quarterly or semi-annually or yearly. Every plan is different. This loan repayment can be suspended for a year. So that's okay. And most importantly, this is you can borrow from your current plan. So if you're working for somebody, you are an employee, you can actually borrow that money from your existing plan. However, with borrowing with your 401k, there are always like negatives that we strongly don't recommend. Anyway, first of all, of course, we talked about the loan. If you already have an existing loan, they may not let you borrow, but this is something that is debatable. Something different plan you need to discuss with your employer. I've seen cases that they say you only allow one loan, but then because of this coronavirus, you can borrow additional loan up to the 100,000. However, usually all plans must be repaid within 5 years anyway, and interest is being accrued. Even though they say you're accruing interest against a loan that you're borrowing, so you are paying yourself interest. However, if you are being terminated from the employment, the loan is due right away, or they give you maybe 60 days after your termination, but it's due, like all the outstanding loan amount is due right away. Otherwise, they will force it to become a distribution. But if the distribution is not this year, then you will get the 10% penalty, which you absolutely don't want. It's penalty, you don't get it back. And then the last thing, and the most important thing about borrowing against your 401k is the double taxation issue. Because you always repay your 401k with after tax money. So you get paid, you work, you pay tax, and then you have after tax money. You use that money to repay yourself. However, this money will grow inside. Of course, we know that. And when you're ready to retire 59 and a half and 60, then it will get taxed again. So it's double taxation. So why do that, right? So in this case, it's your 401k, what should you do, right? So the thing we talked about is just the CARES Act and what the CARES Act does for you. However, it doesn't talk about, and none of the the taxation websites or the news website talks about the market is actually pretty bad lately, right? I mean, it has lost 20%, 30%. Some mutual fund is just like horrendous, right? S&P has lost good 30% from the peak from February. So it's just some of my recommendation in and I have to keep it very broad just due to my situation. But if you still have a current employer sponsored plan, if you're still working for somebody, I would really strongly suggest you consider something safer. Okay, but if you have an idle 401k, what we call idle 401k, which means it's from your prior employer, or or you just simply no longer working for a company, you have a 401k sitting there. Okay, if that amount is less than $10,000, some of you are very young, you never took advantage of this retirement plan. It's just $10,000. You should really consider taking advantage of this 10% penalty fee free distribution. And then you get, as I said earlier, there are many issues, many things that you can cover, that you have to stay home to and watch the kids, or you just need money to pay bills or like get groceries. It's worth it. Or as I say, and or invest in some tax advantage accounts. However, if your account is more than $10,000, 401k, the design of it inherently just eats your account with or without you making money. There is expense associated with it. So maybe consider roll it out to a better account with a safety net, right? With guaranteed no loss on your money, which also promotes growth. So I would suggest really talk to your financial service professional who can handle a simple rollover for you. Okay, so this is just a very simple CARES Act provisions that apply to majority of the people out there. I hope you stay safe. And my good friend Ray actually has produced a series of videos to talk about his analysis on the testing and the related coronavirus analysis, which I will attach a link here, and have a look there, and he's having some good news, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So that's it for me today, and hopefully stay safe. We will see you again later. See ya.